This project started after a couple of years of traveling around the world and recording street noise, weirdly enough. I was traveling around with one of these little portable DAT recorders and recording noises everywhere, like in India, Morocco, all over the place. And I was studying rhythm, so I was studying tabla. I went to Brazil and studied and played in blocos and carnival, and I went to Morocco and studied with some musicians in the mountains, just trying to learn different forms of rhythm. And when I wasn't studying rhythm, I was recording noises in the street.
All that you can see beneath the sun, what is made by you, all must be undone. Let's give up the illusion, leaving one and all, playing against one.
The network that I work in is it's really improvised. It's kind of a DIY trade route. Think of it like, say that an indie band might tour around their country or their region, or Madonna might tour the world in giant, concert halls. But what I do is tour the world, but in tiny spaces. And it's a really unusual model. It's pretty much enabled by the internet and cheap oil, unfortunately. I feel like there's interesting things happening with music everywhere. So you have all these different kinds of musics emerging in a way that we can really know about them for the first time and be aware of them and be influenced by them. And that influence need not be a one-way street coming from the Anglo-American world to the rest of the world, that it can be a two bi-directional information flow. Hard to say what isn't one of my musical influences. I mean, to me, like the sound of a bus door closing can be a musical influence, and the sound of like the most recent, kind of dubstep coming out of London, or some traditional music from, rural Morocco or whatever. It's basically whatever I hear is an influence. Every musician has a different kind of metric by which they can judge their highlights or what is the best gig ever. Usually that's something really big with a lot of public and some big flashing lights. And for me, those gigs are amazing too. But honestly, I think I get something more memorable out of some of the more smaller and stranger experiences. I've made an effort to play in unusual contexts. Like I said, I played in Cairo, played in Tunisia, played in Borneo, played in Siberia, and these aren't places that many musicians go. And when you go there, it really has an impact, not only on the public, but also on the artist. I mean, you're sharing something that people don't often get, This project was born of nomadism. Like I said, it started out with, studying different rhythms and recording street noise. And so it came by necessity out of this kind of a future we might be able to imagine, like a mashup of America Latina, El Mundo Árabe, Africa, all these places where cities are becoming crucibles of like polynational, post-national spaces where there isn't a clear social identity anymore. And I'm really excited about this. And so it's a matter for me of like finding the different cities in the world that are emerging in these different ways, that are becoming mixed up, and being influenced by that, and taking influence and throwing it into my art.